Hi, and welcome back to Tradespotting. No more salivating or anticipating. We're here to start the agitation with our investigation of the chart of the matter. Let's get right into the chart of the matter, shall we? This one is GME. Super important, if you ask me. Let's go back in time to see it from the start of today. There we are. We'll put it down to the 1 minute. Investigate this price action before we start the agitation aspect of things. Take note of the poll, please. Please. Take note of the poll, please. Let's investigate. So interesting. I think what we managed to discover there that there were various levels of support and resistance, and that price action was in a range that had most recently put in a divergent high with this higher high on price action, but a lower high on our momentum indicators, and also although there was a positive convergence with the DI positive, there was less strength in your ADX, which speaks to this subsequent downtrend yet to reach this level of support below us, but we are below this important level, the 236, on the retracement from our high to our most recent local low, that being up here, this high up here on this wick at 250 and something, and this low down here at just under 200. That move, this 236 just below it there, not great, not the best thing in the world. This is an hourly time frame. 4 hour, you're still within a positive trend. Sure, you've got that tiny touch of divergence, but not really clear there, and your body candles here, like, they're quite low, in fact, so perhaps that has burnt off that divergence already. You're here at the center line providing support so far, and the upward trend is still intact according to the DMI, so perhaps on that larger time frame, what was divergence is just the natural oscillations of momentum throughout a positive trend. These things happen, in which case You might be in a formation that looks something like this. Something. Different ways of thinking about it. Perhaps it's a wedge. Perhaps it's an upward sloping channel. They are diagonal lines, and this is a 4-hour time frame, so I would defer to the horizontals. And if we're talking about going up, then I'd want to conquer this 236 here. So let's take this lower level of support, which itself is not really all that important because the trend is what I'm speaking to here. And we'll say that comes in at this level here, just where price action is at the minute, and likely where price action wants to rest, should it not retrace back down towards the max pain zone at 197 and change. Then above you, your 382, that has been where price action took a little bit of a breather on this trend most recently, and so perhaps you would say that was a local high. You'd have to take another Fibonacci sequence to say with any definitive feeling that you were right about that. Taking the high, there's your 236, you're below that, so perhaps you would define this as a local high. There's no divergence really to speak of there, but it does give you reason to think maybe there's a retrace as low as the 618, so we'll take that horizontal, we'll take it down to that level, give ourselves a little bit of a picture where there might be more significant levels of support, which is a positive thing. And looking to the top side, 382, like I say, you took a breath, but if you continue that uptrend, 0.5, that would be a 50% retrace against this downward move. And that would be positive. Dow theory would suggest that that then meant that you were in an uptrend and you'd retraced a significant degree there and would build that into your edge. I would go and say that the nature of this asset and the way it performs on these Fibonacci levels is that it often goes from the 236, should it hold it on those significant time frames like a 4-hour and come back up here. $230 then becomes a level where you might look to see price action. Top side of that, 233 at the golden pocket, and that might be an interesting level should this trend continue. That comes in at the 0.5 where you've had a body close once, twice, and a number of wicks. So you'd be asking a lot to go up here, though that would be a continuation of a current trend with higher highs on a slightly longer time frames. If you talk about that as a part of a downtrend, it's not really. This is the most recent high. Maybe you're going from in here, or perhaps back higher still, in which case you've not yet confirmed it to be an uptrend. And that puts it in context in that you're not really asking all that much of it to do these little moves. But we did base this from the lower time frame up, and we did our investigations right down on the 1 minute to see where price action had been today, and we got a good picture of what was going down. So that was our good investigations on that side. Those levels below, mostly based on horizontal resistance or support, whatever your fancy. And there's also other areas on the chart, such as on the 1 hour down here at this 173 level, a little gap on the 1 hour chart, which does speak to a degree of interest for those people who'll be trading this thing or looking to get bargains should it ever do any sort of a wick down and up again. And if you haven't met whiplash price action before, then you're probably quite new to GME volatility in general. And just like wise man once said, buckle up. So if you do hold those levels and look to these top sides, that's fantastic work, and you'd expect it to go positive thereon and revert to higher time frames. Most recently looked at the 4 hour. If we take up to the daily time frame, talk about this high, you're talking about the top side of a formation that could at this point be previously described by some as a wedge. That puts emphasis on this downward slope and diagonal. I don't think that's an important supply line. Bing bong, price wrong. Thank you very much. Congratulations, us. Mucho gracias, manifestense, urn of ashes. That's very, very much appreciated. I'll get round to it in 2 ticks of a lamb's tail. And you can see I put much more emphasis on this upward sloping demand line, that being here on this daily time frame and on the weekly time frame. Very significant if you ask me. Topside, much less significant here. As you can see, we have put in a higher high on the trend, so that questions this idea of whether this is bullish or bearish, this formation, which one might say it could be either or you would have to now go with the inflection being it's quite positive. You're also at the top side of this resistance on a really significant time frame, which is great news. But perhaps you're not on that, and you're thinking, well, you've already put in a higher high on this 2-day time frame, and where does that define the important levels of price action in that sense? Well, it might be in the mid-level of this formation, which again, we're above. That's at 195 or so on, and like getting nice opening closes above there, even with wicks down, which would be, up to most of a day and another. A day and another, most of it, then you'd be thinking, well, great, that was a nice little bargain I got in there, should you have got those earlier orders that we were speaking about, and then price action would have returned to the mid-level or above this formation, again given a bullish inflection, which speaks to continuation of that trend on significant time frames, back down to the daily time frame then, and saying these were our most recent, this is our all-time high, and this year's high. And now coming into December, end of November, a whole year up here. What does that speak to in terms of the x-axis and where we've been? Well, if we take in a trend-based fib time zone, there's a number of different ways and places you can draw this. Somewhere around here would be not all that crazy. Not 100% sure if I've just gone crazy though. It gives you some interesting information regardless here on the daily time frame. Let's stretch this out. No, let's keep it here. Take another one in. And this being a Fibonacci-based time zone that takes you from the low when this became a new thing that we were all interested in and that will be known and spoken about in history books for a long time. This was the high that told most of the world who were interested or ever going to hear the news that GME was going to change the world. And then this is where the doomslayers really got their act together. And since then, price action has been very bullish, accumulating up here at resistance in these all-time high levels and on significant time frames and over a significant period of time. So significant that you're now coming up to completing on this area here, 1618, full extension of this Fibonacci plus a chunk. This is where you might aim to see big moves coming through. Phase change because you're going through a new Fibonacci zone. These sort of things, they can lead to positive inflections should you be in a bullish areas. And so as that has happened at each time, you've got your all-time highs here, defining these next ones, these higher lows. Right, you draw enough of them on, you can catch everything, but it does give you a degree of confluence and speaks to how you might use this within an niche. Right, all you need is slightly over 50%, and then that's adding value. And I'm trying to add value. So if you think I got any, hit the like button, take part in the poll, check out the showcased merchandise up there in the top. Don't go too close to the website; it'll suck you in, and you might never get back. And I'll say hello to all of you guys, and then get on to any requests you might want to look at. Anything jumping to mind? How is everybody? Are we all good? Ping bong, price is wrong. Ghost of Homer's Ghost super chat at 559. That's very generous. Thank you very much. What did you say? Main show Robert, the greatest detective in the world. Eat your heart out, Sherlock. Main show Robert. Yes. Good old Robert standing in today. Manifest Density, Urn of Ashes earlier said, Constable Curran and the curious case of the bad murder. And Nick Curry made an order of 1 items. Oh yeah. Bing bong, the price is wrong. Thank you so much, everybody, and everybody who supports me in every way are also very much appreciated. How is everybody? Where do I get the chat up? The chats. In here somewhere. There it is. Pop out, please. Main show Robert. How did you know it was me? Moving up in the world, says my windows. Yes, correct. Moving up in the world. So did you take part in that poll? I think it looks fantastic. That's going to break my thing. Of course you did, Jamie. You're so stupid. Jamie, you're so stupid. Oops, I don't want it that big. And yeah, so yeah, Jamie, right. So here we go. Looking more and more professional, Tradespotting. Thank you very much, Mike Hunt. I'm standing in. I'm main show Robert. Investigating this curious case of the bad murder, isn't it? Don't know. Where are you from? Depending on where you're from, either or. Hi, Tradespotting. Can you please take a look at Fury? It's this Tyson Fury. Is this, or is it Tommy Fury? The brother who's the fighting the YouTuber, isn't it? Is that what you want me to check out? Have we gone that far? Is that what's happened, Ryan? Is it what? Huh? As opposed to Sideshow, who's that? I never heard of him. So Rich Agrillo, is it Jamie or Janine? It's a question nobody knows. Holy moly, it's the greatest show in the world. Here it is, right? And it's a mystery as to why. Just like, mankind. It's a mystery too, right? It's made up of two words, right? Mank and eind. What do those two words mean? Nobody knows. And it's a mystery, which is why we add things like the Mystery Island to the Tadpole quiz on Tuesday. Have you been there for Tadpole Games? It's excellent. If not, subscribe. You don't want to miss a minute. It's nice to see you while on my lunch break. If you're on your lunch break, excellent. We'd like to hear a naked update today, and if that's time, would be nice to hear as well. If you're on your lunch break, let's get into it. Superfly. It's at 0.6709. Can you get into the actual button, Jamie? Yes, you can. Here we are looking at naked. Just quickly, of Slurry's, his lunch break. So he is there. Upward sloping positive move on RSI. It hasn't yet put in much strength. That has put in a higher high here. I'd suggest that it's like not very positive. Bearish divergence. It's taking you back down again to 786 and beyond, nearly past the 0.886, but not. Then you've gone straight back up all the way through back to the 50%, more or less. Come back down. I see, right. So we looked at this in the not too distant past. You've gone between support and resistance a number of times. May continue for a while. This was this entry. Back here again. Renegade Master. Do you get this? So what is that? Does it tell me here? No. What is that? 6507 or something, 31, something around that level. Do you get that entry again? Well, you're right next to it, aren't we? Aren't we? Yes, wicked in there, close to it. What's this? 786 from our low here to this high. 236. Couldn't hold that. Couldn't hold 618. Strong move afterwards. Not enough to recover from that much divergence, but then I had 1, 2, 3 touches. Does that speak to lower support and a retest of this zone at 0.5 something? And getting this entry again, perhaps. Ultimate support at 4.8 there for like potentially another great move. You'd have to look at it at the time, but it might be another great move. Overall, the area it really wants to get above it in the most recent move at the minute would be 236, but you'd be fighting about 3 touches of divergence across the daily at that point. Instead, you might want to accumulate a support first and put in higher lows on daily time frames. At the minute, you've got one at around 0.496 and then another at 5.2. And I suppose you would say, hope that this one at 5.9 was one at the minute, but it may well be that because this does crazy things. Sometimes you get a crazy wick or move here. Maybe it's lower, but you'd want to see it higher than this low here, which is where this horizontal comes around at. So you'd want to see it doing something better than these sort of things. Any of those would be adequate. In terms of moving to the top side, you've got this linear progression here on the bottom of the RSI. That's quite interesting. Even if you do have like a divergence at the top side of it, your trend is continuing here. And this cross on Rocket Outcrops DMI on the daily time frame does speak to the fact that perhaps you've gone, you've made a move now, plus your ADX is pushing up towards the 40 line and 38 anyway. And once that gets involved, right, who cares about RSI divergence? This is way more stronger signal. And it also speaks to a trend change, which you expect to see if things are up hitting resistance and things might actually change. We'd see some reflection of that. So that's interesting. There's also levels giving you flashes in the past and volatility and around different places. This gap was filled up here. 4-hour flash. Got that really good trade. Do you get it again? Oops. What was that? So as a continuation, in which case you speak to that channel we saw in the RSI, might be something you start seeing evolving across the price action on, say, the 1 hour time frame. Put in a higher low somewhere much higher than one of these, like something super positive if it's above 6.4, 6.540 sort of thing. If it's above that, that's great. This does speak to a touch of hesitancy, which I don't particularly like to see. And that might lead to some sort of test of support slightly lower. So I wouldn't be too anxious about seeing things down here. It's just, that's the nature of these sort of things. Like if you don't manage to break resistance, you'll often test support. And so very often, if price action consolidates above, say, mid-level before that test, and then it returns to it quick sharp, then the next test at resistance gets shattered. So, you have to bear that in mind, depending on how you're trading this thing. I've got some of it, have been going in and out of it, and like keep getting more of it, and suspect that it'll do quite well for reasons well beyond my control. Bastards that run the world on other things. Tradespotting. What do you feel about them buying an EV company? It seems very strange. I read an article that it liked it to essentially to a SPAC now. I suppose, yeah, there is a degree of that to it. It's quite funny. It's because there's a lot of interest in it, right? And there will be, and it'll do all right. I think the EV idea is sensible, right? If they can generate revenues off it, and I don't know about the infrastructure details in America and whatnot, but it seems like sensible for some reasons. Definitely not sticking to your knitting. Agree with you on that side of things. But then, it's a different company now for lots of different reasons. There's a huge chunk of its shareholders couldn't really give a flying F what it gets up to as long as it turns its hand at something profitable and then generates like some sort of revenue and then can turn around and start paying some sort of dividend. Then people that own it will be laughing. And, truthfully, like what drives price action? Speculation. And so I can see that there's a lot of positivity there because like the business would make sense. There are other companies that talk about things like, I thought it was a joke when I saw it on Twitter when people were talking like, we should get Adamaran to install like free charging stations in every AMC car parking space. And I was like, well, I can see why that would make you maybe go to the cinema, but it would also make it such an unprofitable cinema. Like, you can't just keep giving people free things. That's not a business. So, if they can be on the receiving end of a deal like that, though, fantastic, right? Then you'd be laughing about your naked investments. So what do I think about it? Yeah, I mean, right, it's our market now. What do you think about it? I think it's pretty damn neat. New Zealand clothing company popped up and I was like, huh? Clothing company. The New Zealand clothing company. Yeah. I just want own a lingerie. You just wanted to. I don't know. Is it that fun? I think the glamour is overstated in that sense. This is main show Robert. Yes, Sky. What are you looking for? I think EV company to buy naked to try to get meme status among retail. They want access to the magic money pool. I think that's a good idea. Yeah. Why not? Positive suggestion there. right? If you can turn your hand to it and make it work, more power to you. Lamau, same sky, but what are you talking about? As opposed to what? Who's that then? I don't know what the hell that means, homie, Lamau. Sky, I believe he's investigating a murder. Yes, Sky, catch up already. You can go back to the start and watch it. You know, it's super easy. Controls down below there. Boom, boom, boom. You got them. A bad murder. What? With a movie ticket purchased to unlock the charging station would be cool. Aye, it would be cool. So you buy it in advance, it unlocks it. You know, what are the margins on that though? What are your overheads? What are your overheads? Trey's Gumbernickel. Case one, EVGO, please. Does it retrace back to the .382? What's $13.75? Was this move close enough? EVGO. Gap at 618. It's dropped through the 236. $10.52. Bing bong, the price is wrong. King Khors, King Cory, King Bing Bong.
Thanks, yeah, legend.
King Pong, King, they said this was, what does that say? Get out of my way, stupid window. I'm not even interested in this stupid window. I want to see what Cory said. How do I do this? I don't know how. Go away. Great. That was worth way more than this. Thank you, legend. Aye, Cory, you're worth way, 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 way more than I can possibly say. Thanks so much. You're a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant person to have in the audience. I really freaking appreciate you. Thanks. Hope you have a good rest of your day and hope you had a nice lunchtime. I heard it's snowing not far from you. She's gone, EVGO, please. Does it retrace back to the 382? Was this move close enough? Is that the message I already read? It is. Deja vu. Aye. So you've already hit the like button. Thanks very much. Appreciate it. I'll get that poll out of the way. Notice you can speak if you've been a subscriber for 0 minutes. It's a bargain. Today only. Often I have it at 20 minutes. If they had an option for me to have it at 4.5 million billion years, sometimes I'd have that one. So, you know, take advantage. Right? Smuck way a kipper, I'll be home for breakfast. You drop through the 236. Like, what you want it to go where? To the 382. Oh, you're hoping it stops here at 1357, huh? Right, I can see where you're coming from. Would it though? You've had that divergent high. You've broken through this area. Do you go back to your 200 period moving average? Let's investigate. Do you go back to your 200 period moving average? Shall we investigate? What do you think? What do you think? Well, I have to say, having taken a look at all of the potential areas it could come down to, we've had on the 15 minutes a death cross, followed by a test confirming it. Then we've traced the 50 period moving average down until the 8 period caught us. This rolling over effect took us into this lower low on this smaller time frame back to this level of support or retrace on our first thrust up. That was a very positive move. This was an excellent continuation. At this point, you were putting in divergence on the RSI on a 15-minute time frame. You come down, roll over. Does this look like a head and shoulders? If so, measured move from the head to the neckline, something in and around this region. Could be different, right? You could be looking at it like this. It could have already broken. Could be different ways you would do this. Then you would question, is the 382 enough of a reason to bounce here? Well, we've already got close to it, and we've got close to this area, and we're hoping for this to be horizontal support. If not, the 382 is just above this 13 and change level. Does that mean it's a wick and this is a significant level of support? May well be. If you break here, though, you're going through a number of highs and lows, like 1, 2, this first test of it here, this was a wick and then recovery. Again here when it was broke back up again. And then your first touch down again was another one. So that's a number of touches there. You've not had any test here. And if you break through a level that's got that much significance, that would give the subsequent move added significance. So I'd be thinking this 382 in and of itself doesn't constitute much of a defense. If, for example, it was in opposition to me, I would judge it to be weak and useless, and think that they'd be looking for a test of the trend at the 50% retrace of this move, which, if you do take this measured move and say this is a head and shoulders, which represents the psychology of the higher high that's divergent, and then a failure to go back again, and you take that and drop down from in and around this area, say it was this upward sloping head and shoulders, and that measured move takes you back to the 618, which is where really I actually would try and force the battle if it was me and I was breaking 236 and I was looking for that. And I don't do that kind of thing, but if I would do it, I'd kick the shit out of it and put it there. That's the way you do that. And if you're in here trading this thing, you don't want to be taking this when it's going against you at these levels here. Sure, it might bounce up and that's great, but and 60% of head and shoulders will fail. And sure, this is natural. You would see these sort of things in the continuation of an uptrend. But you have to manage your risk. Think about those kind of things. It depends how you want to trade it and what instrument you're on, what timeline you're thinking about. But at different times, risk changes. And, you recover above this 236, everything looks fantastic again. You're going on. That 382 might be a good line of defense. 0.5 would be where I'd be looking for a trend check, and that would catch a lot of people out. Most people are wrong most of the time. And so, think about that. Look at liquidity. You've covered here on the 15 minutes outside your bearish control zone, right? You have done that test and you're looking at it with a positive mindset. I'm just speaking from a risk management perspective. But if we are looking at it from a bullish perspective and saying this is your departure point to the top side, you've had one touch here. You've come in and tested it again. Zooming in on the 15 minutes, you can see close but not completely, slightly higher low, positive on the price action convergence on the RSI. You have got a test of this negative trend coming up. Maybe that happens up at support at 1465 and so on. There are levels above then that you'll need to get above to say, right, cool, well, I confirm that we are bullish, right? Like looking left, you can see that there's a number of touches here. Go further back, I suspect there'll be more, yeah, quite a few. And then the wick highs back like we were talking about, stops all those moves. So this area is important to recover. Your 50 period moving average on the 50 time frame, not really. Might put some emphasis on the 200, but again, not really. I mean, speak to the trend here and moving averages on this time frame, take it right down at 15 minute and say, well, you recover the 8 period, trace that up. If you get through the horizontals, that's what's important. This 236 and this breakdown point come very close together. If you were to draw a Fibonacci on here, you would hope that this would be above the 786, but you know that it won't be. Sold in the golden pocket, just and no more. So that'd be another horizontal level, which is already marked out anyway by a different Fibonacci. So I'd put extra emphasis on that then. So you'd have to go through here, and then you'd want to go through the 200 period moving average, but you'd also want to go through the 786 on this previous downward move, and then look left to that horizontal. So that would be what I'd put emphasis on, the next level above. You want to get through all these moves and then retrace back above these highs, which would take you a 1618 extension from this current downtrend going back up the way. And that would be likely a 786 then of this Fibonacci. So from that high, say this was the low, and that is your bullish thesis. 786 is up here, it's 886. 1618, it's just above it. And if you did get there, then that would speak to you having broken important horizontals again. So you could take those Fibonacci's away, get a clearer picture of what's going on in front of you. And see a little bit of a move potentially to the downside. If you go back up to the top, then your retracement from here, you'd look to break this first horizontal. And then on the hourly time frame, 50 period moving average is above you. They're meeting you at that horizontal, breaking back above this upward sloping previous demand line. Now supply only got 3 touches, broke as soon as it had a real test. Horizontals all the same. 4 hour. It draws itself, this thing, right? And your eyes are drawn back then again to the bad mudda. And somebody has to take responsibility for it at the end of the day. You have also broken below the RSI on the center line, and you're below your moving average. You've got a test here on the DMI, rocket across DMI, and that gives you the earliest signals of any indicator I've ever used, and it's the most reliable one I've ever used in my life. And there's a big gap there, and it's on significant time frames, and you've had golden cross on 4 hour time frame, and that so very commonly gets tested, and the measured move from it takes you into the 50 period moving average at $11 or $10.99, and then the 200 just below it there at $10.10. That would be you filling the gap, touching horizontal support and resistance, doing a trend check on a significant moving average. On daily time frame, your 200 comes in at 11.90, your 50 periods down at 10.28. That's the range should you come back down. These are the levels should you look to go at the top side. That's the TA on EVGO. Boom. Hello, everybody. It is I, main show Robert, here to do the investigations of the murders. Have you seen them so far? If not, go back and watch. It's Thursday. Put a smile on your face, innit? Hit the like button. Mike Hunt. Layers random something sort of layers. See, yeah, layers. Rocky as Bob Ross's a cosplay I don't know I needed. Queen Jamie the Fist. The chosen amount must be a whole number that you own. Yeah, what are you, stupid? Tradespotting. KPLT. It's the KPLT, KP and LT. Let's have a look at it. Shall we? Did I highlight it on here? Because yourself was asked for it. I should very much have done so. Did I? I suppose it starts with a K, so my investigations here should be the simple part of this. No, it turns out that I was an idiot. So not a great start, BMJ. Let me find now where it has managed to make itself, because I refuse to type it in. Yep, there you go, Jimmy. You have to. You just can't frickin' catch a break on that stupid menu. Catapult Holdings, it's on my chart. It's on my chart, but it was invisible. And here we are, back 5% down. Whoop, there you're into that level. Whoop, you've got this potential move on the go, touching the support level. Have you got there yet? Whoops. There it is. Drop that. Go away. Get off that tool. Now it does it for you. Oh, right, so this potential move here, should you have got this support, you've not held your 236. What time frame are we on here? Daily time frame. Let's do our investigations. Start here anyway. What's it been at recently? 4.15 low, 4.51 4.15 low, 4.51 high. Okay. And then this year it's been as low as 310, but the top side of it is much further away, up towards $20. So a huge range on it. Putting it in context, it's at lows. And you're looking at this Fibonacci, which takes you from your all-time highs, is it? Let's go with that. Yeah, that's a good assumption from here. Is it? Nope, it's not a good assumption. I have assumed it wrong. Does not make me stupid. Delete it. That's not it. This is it. So presumably I went through this earlier. Although there's the 618 on this. Maybe I moved that afterwards and talked about how you could draw Fibonacci's from different levels if you wanted to, and do a study of confluence and come to your own understanding of where you feel that there will be equilibrium, and that as such a different profile to your own risk. Oh, that's not on the charts, is it? It's not on the charts. Haha, I know, I should have noticed, because when it is on the charts and I am doing the investigation, everybody knows about it.
Just donated 10. They said thank you, Schmet.
Well, it seems from a quick look at the daily time frame that you've got a number of levels of support to look to. You're holding in and around the golden pocket from this most recent low, the all-time one, at around $3.12 or whatever that was, 3.10, up to the most recent high at 7.80, 100% move itself, a 50% move of the trend from its overall down move on the Fibonacci on a log chart there. How you see that trend potentially breaking should it persist above this downward sloping diagonal, and put in a measured move, perhaps, if this is some sort of hold the 236, hit the golden pocket. To do that, you'd have to recover the 50 period moving average on the daily time frame at 619, which is also the 236 of that most recent move from the low to that 100% increase. If you take another Fibonacci from there down to this most recent low, take out a cross price action at the minute and look for confluence there with a 236 at around $5. It's a super important level based on obvious 3 different Fibonacci's that is currently influencing price, so interesting. Let's take this level, put it in there, because it's important. And up here, we'll leave this one where it was. It's in the 236, it's on the 618, and it's on the 382. So this is a really important level above on those 3 Fibonacci's and the horizontals that we're looking at. And you can see the 50 period moving average here on the daily time frame. So like this is up at $6.15. Your risk profile changes radically up here. If you open and close those daily time frames, or even perhaps less, let's see where the 4 hour, what does that tell us? High charts, do you want to just like Does that mean the internet's not working either? Hello? What's up? I'm back. The charts are back. Seems like they are. Maybe I'm back too. Hopefully I am. Hit the like button if you were shocked that I disappeared and don't want it to happen again. I'm sure that'll help. If YouTube recognizes all those likes, it'll be like, we can't let this happen. You're good on our end. Great. Yo, hello everybody. Right, so hi, I see you there. Thanks very much. You come in, touch this support. Great. There are a number of ones below. I don't like to see it go there particularly. If we are looking to the top side, you have potentially broken this line on different time frames. The 4 hour, you came above what, your 200 back below your 50. Stretch things out so it's slightly easier for to see, though perhaps not completely. This is your 50 period moving average, currently in and around between two important levels of resistance above you. You're below your 8 period moving average, so you're trending down on the 4 hour. You're obviously pushing down on everything here. Underneath the 8 period on the 1 hour, and you've got this potential negative move coming between your 50 and your 200 as identified by my exponential 179 going through them at the same time. Talk about radical, awesome, amazing trading strategies. You get chitcha. Thanks very much. Yes, you're welcome. So, and your 8 period moving average, and you've got this horizontal level here. You've got another one below it. Top side of this, you've got a gap fill here. It does like to fill you on gaps. And there's a potential gap there. Is that filled yet? Nope. So you're looking up in that area where there has been, again, another one of them. That's it on the hourly. 15 minutes there is close enough, near enough. Not sure if it is, not on that occasion. Here, possibly sure. This, sure. 30 minutes though, so 30 minutes. So here's your hourly. Is that a gap? It is. It's interesting. Top side of there, interesting. Back up to the 4 hour. There you see. Looking left, other areas of interest. So you need to break significant levels here. It's being annoying that it came back below that and that it's now doubled on here. You have got an equal test low on the RSI, so there's nothing desperately positive, and you've got this cross between the positive and negative trend indication with the ADX weakening. You can't too much emphasis on it, and you have just most recently tested up at a resistance level, so likely you're going to get that test and you'd afterwards be able to call it support. Should it go lower and the RSI manages to persist above the bearish control zone, that'll be bullish divergence, and then from that point you would maybe look to this 50 period moving average to get another test and perhaps try and persist between it and the 200 before looking to move to these higher levels at that 618 at $6 and change. So I'd pay attention, see how these come along. Or if you do go back further, whoops, and my doopsies, that wasn't what I wanted to happen. If you do go back further, checking out the Fibonacci, this one from that low, dropping it in at or that 100% increase, and talking about this retrace from that full move down again, and using this low to identify like a different type of technical like entity, using it in terms of this low instead of this price action here or this most recent test of this potential supply line. Instead looking at this and thinking about these Fibonacci's that are relevant to that move. Then it's your 786 at 383. You don't want breaking, and then 345's like you'd think there that's like if it does get there, you'd want to not have been in the trade because it might potentially be good, but you're going through like big percentage moves to get down those levels, so it's a hard one to trade. If you're already in it and you took something from here, if you got anything from that, fantastic. If you're looking for this to recover, these are the areas above 498. If you do start opening and closing 4 hours up there, You know, that's a significant difference, and it does push to the idea of the 50 and 200 having a test again, which would necessitate prices themselves testing up at the golden pocket and doing that move to the 6 and change. On a daily time frame, you're still looking at this and questioning, is that broken? You know, I'm looking at this thinking, is that broken? Like, I just draw this on for whatever reason. Usually it's not all that strict, but you know, I would have found, you know, you went all the way to the golden, you know. So you're inside this level again, having gone out of it, come back. You've not tested the diagonal. You have got a touch on the horizontal. That does speak to something positive. But a bing bong, the price is wrong. To Trajitsu guy. Sure, Merrick Sanders, and I would appreciate a gander at SDC, my lad. You both very welcome to one, Dane. Have I got anything else I was supposed to write down? SDC. So you're looking for it to hold these supports, and you're looking for it to test these resistances. That would, on this 4 hour, be potentially a higher low on RSI if it does sit down at any of these levels, which would be bullish divergence. And you've got this test coming through with a period of volatility up here again, where price action could return to, and that speaks to a really profitable move should it happen. And like, he who dares wins. So as long as you're managing your risk properly, that would be one to celebrate up there at the 50 period. If it does manage to go on beyond fill gaps and touch up at $10 and whatnot, and tickle it back to the 618 of this bigger Fibonacci in the all-time move, then, you know, that's what you'd be looking to if it confirms these levels and goes on. If you lived in my world, you would be. Anywho. And you want to look at the SDC, huh? Let's check out the SDC. Smile Direct Club. Oof. Well, there's probably jokes that can be made about this. Are we on the right chart? We are. Excellent. So we could start our investigations, I suppose. So on the daily time frame, you've been in a persistent downtrend that has come in and taken you into hit your equal lows back here in March 2020. Whatever could have happened back then, and here you are back again at the same level. So smile delete club. So generally speaking, the world feels like improving their smile about as much as they did back then, which would be about the sum total of sweet fuck all, essentially. Nobody's interested in smiling. I might as well freaking give up. That's what this chart says. Give it up. Or does it? So you've come in and you've touched this all-time low. Usually that would suggest that a positive move. If you did turn around now, you'd say that was Class B divergence. You've got a potential negative move here with your price action being lower than your previous low, but your RSI not as low. If you was to think that this was like, it's very bullish, right? It's very bullish. But if you were to, the price action itself is bearish, but the fact that your RSI isn't lower speaks to the fact that there isn't as much pressure pushing this down as there was here. And so this might be a bargain then when it reaches an all-time low, which looks good. And then if you did take the measured move from this channel, you can see that that takes you on a logarithmic chart with a target having recovered to 236 if you break out the top side, all the way up to the 618 and above your 200 period moving average, which might speak to like subsequently a retrace. So that would be a good take profit level there. And following your stop up, should you get that amazing move, wouldn't be desperately complicated. And again, this is all speaking to the bullish case, of course, and there's like the signature on RSI that thing does tend to put in its next local high, because albeit in the middle of a downtrend, but it does tend to do it on a break and retest of this formation. So you'd be looking first for a break. You're at the low side of it, and you're at the low side of the channel on price action. This would be likely where it would bounce. It would be bullish divergence. You would look then and think maybe the 200 period moving average. First area is this 236 and the downward slope and diagonal there. At that point, maybe you do pause. The RSI accumulates above the bearish control zone. It's broken outside of this wedge, and then it bounces up again, and you do get one of those moves, and you might think that this is the place to enter. Your risk profile might say that's the place to enter. Depends where you put your stop, but I can tell you already that there's something interesting down here, because once again, there's been a bad murder, and this time it's a frickin' serial killer on the loose. He's done his business up here, and that we thought we'd caught the guy, but clearly not. Another one, right? This guy, SDC, he's tearing them apart. Back here, absolutely destroyed them. Look, this guy's on a rampage, by the way. I have an Ant Gartley, an Ant Gartley drawn and a 2-hour flash to 558. 558, that would take you up and fill your gap. You yourself might solve that bad murder. 558 would be a lower high. It would be at the top of this channel. It would recover that 236. It would meet that downward sloping resistance, and that matches the TA. That's fantastic. You're on the 2-hour, huh? What an esoteric time frame to be on. There's your 2-hour. There's your flash. You're darn tootin'. There you go. There's your smiles. You can stuff your fucking stupid fucking... Hey, I've got a beautiful smile already, and it comes from within. I don't need to pay nothing for it. It's beautiful, and you can have it too. All you need to do is just be happy and not give a shit, and then you can possibly get halfway there by taking trades like this. Well done, well identified, great move. There's your flash. The reliability on top of all the TA I just did there is fantastic. And then you just like, there you go, right? It's all done for you. Your 50 period moving average, 200 up there. You're looking at the 2-hour time frame. You've got your gentleman there in chat to thank for that one. And nice job. Congratulations, Constable Jiu-Jitsu. I think we may be looking at getting you a promotion, lad. Hey, lad, you know? Might be having a look around, you know, looking around thinking who else solved a case for me lately. You know what I'm saying, right? Got statistics and we've got budgets and we've got oversight committees. And I've got, you know, it's what it is. It is what it is. Where's Papa? Has he been telling him Katie Babe's missed him? Tradespotting. When I see him, I'll say, everybody says hello, thanks. I wonder if he's around right now. No, it was a silent, sustained reading time. So I was sort of half watching, but not listening a lot at Sky. Oh my goodness. Tradespotting, may I request HEXO, please? I fell asleep yesterday. You didn't. Wow. You didn't fall asleep, did you? And didn't ask in good time. Oh, you did. Oh, you poor thing. And I was rightfully shamed for it. You were shamed for not asking in time. Can we hope for 1.29 bottom support? Yes, shame is a great motivator. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. 1.29 bottom support on what was it you were asking for? HEXO, the gravy company. We all know them as the gravy company. Choo choo, HEXO, where are you? Well, presumably you're up with the H's. But, you know, I wouldn't bet on it. Hey, phew. Good I didn't bet on that one. Diddle-diddle-diddle. Funhouse. Gotta hit the like button. That's why nothing's findable, because nobody hits the like button. What is your problem? If you're watching this in the past, congratulations. It just gets better and better and better, right? Those people who watch it a number of times through will be able to work out why that is. Why that is 236. You're looking to get back here above your 236 here. You've had not very much happening, haven't you not? Haven't you not? No. You've not having's not. Well, we're on the 2-hour time frame. How do you like your do you like a lot of chocolate on your biscuit? As I say around here. As some people say, they talk about gravy, biscuits and gravy and that, and I don't know, right, but did you invent biscuits or gravy? Because when what those two words mean, right? When you put that, like, that's just not something, right? That's just not. But I hear you talk about it like it's something. So I'm like, what is it? Because that isn't, like, you know. So interesting, right? Another investigation perhaps due at some point for that. I have an Aunt Gartley. Oh shit, have I missed it? Oh yeah, well you did that, and it was fantastic. Is a Gartley for ants then? Yeah. Nice, I like it. I probably missed a joke. Well, you know, that's not like me. Tradespotting, may I request it? Yeah, I'm here already. What? How many times do I have to read that message out at the same time over and over? Biscuits and gravy. It's, you guys, what you like? Honestly, I'm typing from the future. This video will have over 200 likes. Oh my goodness. That's just shocking. Sure, I'm looking up here and I see there's only 14 of you. And 2 of you aren't even real. Looking fabulous as always. Thanks very much, Chris. I do put in the effort, you know. Of course. It's not cheap keeping it up. The appearances, I can tell you. It's hardly worth it, in fact. Especially when your head's like this. Whew, roasting it is. And I'm telling you, the mice are working overtime on that. I need to get some air conditioning or something installed up here. So you got to recover this 236, innit? And then you're looking for a 618 with the 200 period moving averages, innit? I mean, yeah, so cool, right? Let's go and look at it on a weekly time frame, talk about how awful it looks. Wow, that's so awful, man. Jeez, look at that. It's terrible. Low. Nah, there's more jokes coming there, right? You see, the thing is, right, because I've got this on, right? And this is something that maybe you've thought of before, right? But because I've got this on, you know, it's this, you're completely distracted. You're completely distracted by my silly hat. You didn't even notice I've got a completely different hairstyle. See that? Magic. Now somebody says there, you know, in time from the future and whatnot, and I should freaking hope so, right? Because I taught you that ages ago. Now it's this is other craft, and you're going to need it, right? You're going to need it because there's other things you've also missed. What did I just walk into? Ah, the mighty potato. You're the best, my man. Thank you very much, potato. Mighty potato. Ah, Mr. Old Potato, when he was carving his little Pinocchio potato, and the two decided to fuck this Reasonable Land and look at these sort of trades. Like, shit, why not, right? It's fucked. Why not, right? It's completely fucked. Why not? It's touching this downward sloping demand line, right? Let's call it that. That is funny. Right. What do you think, Stock Puppet? Yeah, you're tired. That's okay. No worries. Right. So, yes, I don't see any particular bad murders. So do you really, you kind of need the services. That's perhaps why I've got a different cap on now, a different thinking cap, certainly. 200 period moving average is just showing up now on the weekly time frame, and that itself comes in at a significant level of support with this overall Fibonacci, taking us from your all-time highs to your all-time lows. You can see that the 618, the golden pocket, resides in it around the same area as the 200 period moving average, which is the A point on, who knows what harmonic that is and who's been drawing on these charts. There's a potential move from in around where you are with this wick low that's testing it at the minute. You do get slightly lower body closes at that stage. You have got not quite as low a picture on the RSI, but that look back period of 55 bazillion ice ages perhaps reduces the reliability of that signal just a little bit, though you do have these other indications that the negative trend hasn't yet ended. Downward slope on the ADX and the DI minus coming back down is positive. To see that as price action is already lower than it might ideally be is not super positive. Stretch this out and check that candle seems to be a bearish engulfing candle. Well, that's certainly not positive. On the weekly time frame at the minute, you've got a bearish engulfing candle. You would very much like to see prices back above 1.42 come the end of tomorrow. That would be, I would suggest, quite important for this thing. And here we are onto the, is there a gap then? If that potentially on the 3-day, there looks like something there. 2-day, are we seeing it? Are we seeing it? Are we seeing it? Yes, there is a gap. Oh, you sneaky, 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 sneak. Yes. Well, you're looking at this and you're hoping very much that this is going to be higher than this previous low. If it isn't, you're going to look to this potential, and it seems quite clear so far that it would look to be like positive bullish divergence with a higher low on the RSI, though that won't be much consolation, especially if it continues. The negative trend has taken over on DMI on daily time frame, though there has been this terrible crime, and it seems to be not just the secret ingredient, but quite well-known knowledge now that all you want to do is go around murdering charts and companies. Right down here in the chart of the matter, we find ourselves again investigating crime. And a potential gap there. Is it closed? I don't know, right? I don't think it is. I think that's quite significant that it's maybe a whole cent, right? A whole cent. And on my watch, are we going to allow this kind of... What sort of ship are we running around here, right? What sort of ship is it? You tell me, huh? What kind of ship is this? Well, we're not one with big holes in the side of it, is it? If it is, it's fucked. That's for sure. So your boy here has been murdered, and it's a bad murder. It's a disaster, really. And look, it's like got acid blood or something, because it's kind of ruining it for everybody, going right through the decks and potentially going down, changing the whole picture we're looking at. Does this trend to the downside continue? Does this put in a double bottom and go up? That's what you'd be really looking for. A double bottom. You've turned around on the RSI. Potentially it goes up from here, and this would be one of the areas to enter, right? It would be 886. You'd have to really hope it did, and you'd really hope tomorrow that you had a bullish engulfing in response to these two awful candles. Itself like speaks to this. The trend has likely fully extended, and you have got to your 886, and there are reasons for it to bounce here. But when you go back up and you look at this on the daily, the 3-day, the 2-day, where was it? The weekly, that's a fuck off shit sign. You really don't want that. We really, really don't. So you really want it back up, and those levels you're looking at for it to be above is 143, which just so coincidentally is where that poor little bastard has been murdered, isn't it? The ghosted dance, which I had to $5. Why, thank you, Dan. It is so very much appreciated. It's so very much appreciated. We miss you around here, we do. How's everything? It's appreciated. Yes. So you look for this to recover up there, and we'll figure out who done it, governor. Gosh, some sneaky bag-a-did it, so he did. Right, you got your 50-period moving average at 151. That's the horizontal level to look to, too. It's also interesting for the Fibonacci's. The 143 would be where you'd do the investigating, and then maybe you'd progress onwards, and you'd make it on higher and whatnot, and then you'd be making more money taking that trade and so on, you know. Whoa, it's amazing. Whoa, yeah. Stuff like that. You probably say it in your own accent. Hey, Tradespotting, you're breaking my heart with your brutal truth about HEXO, but I have been holding GME for a year. I can't take it now. Oh, my feels. Oh, my feelsy foozles. Yeah, well, I mean, what did I say, really? Like, you're going down here, there's loads of different opportunities. You're double testing a low, you're looking for a double bottom. It's a fucking opportunity, innit? It's like we were talking about with the catapult nut. You gotta have to be some, like, courage to do these sort of things, right? And... like, it's got a bullish accumulation pattern on there, and it's touching an all-time low, and if it does go up, it'll go up quite a lot. Like, this is quite high, 161 and whatnot. This level of support, 164, great. Test this cross on that 15-minute, that's not all that unheard of. You got a 50-period and 200-period there, it's only whatever, 50% retrace against this trend, that's nothing, right? You've also come in to touch horizontal, it's expected, it's nearly expected, right? It's on the verge of being expected. You've also got this test at the bottom of the bearish control zone. If these things are they're likely at their zenith, right? It's like, this is the moment to like HEXO. This is the answer. Same way, like catapult and anything else that you want to like. You know, you like a lot of chocolate on your biscuit or not? That's the question, right? That's the question. And it is as such for a reason. So it can't break your heart. And if it did break it in 1,000 pieces, then I could put all of them back together. It's just 1,000 pieces. It's not that long. It's not that hard. It's super easy. A couple of months, right as rain, promise. I picked up a hell of a time to stop chronically. It must have been to the YouTube videos. Yeah, you did, didn't it? You know? Yep. Well, I mean, comes from all angles at the moment, right? The support. Feels, yeah, still have those. Tradespotting, can you please wear this wig more? This perm is giving me life. It's not a wig. Are you looking to get banned? This is my real hair. Are you looking to get banned? What the fuck is that? Mods, have a warning. Have a word with Sky. That's ridiculous. Hi, Tradespotting. Harmonics look great. They do, don't they? On Fury. Oh, right. That's right. Any chance you could take a look? You got me. Where are you? Where are you? I have definitely looked at you before. Where are you, you idiot, Fury? You're an idiot, Fury. You know that. Where are you? Forward to 10%. Ooh, not bad. Daily. Ooh, not great. Good taking profits in that, eh? These are smart. These chaps are smart taking profits on these moves to the top side of these areas. Broadening wedge, anybody? Not so sure. 50 period 200. Do a test? Not sure. Had one recently. Just come down here. Interesting. Interesting. Daily time frame? Interesting. Oh, that's pretty obvious. What were we looking for? This one. Jake Paul. This is in the greater New York area. Fury Gold Mines Limited. Is this the correct ticker? Bum ba da dum ba ba little limp. Boom whoop whoop. Ouch. Yeah, so this is your D point I. Is that what you're talking about? Or are you looking at a different A, B, C, D? What are you looking at there? The A, B, C, D? XA, A, B, C. Why don't you look at what? That's just this huge massive one, right? That's a bit fucked, isn't it? Because of that, innit? Or are you talking about this? Because, like, it's already done that, innit? So, that's a bit fucked. So you're just using that. And then that's like, that's already fucked. So fuck that. So, right, okay. Anyway, so you've got whatever. This is what jumps out immediately. So where is it anyway? So you could basing your harmonic around that. 886, yeah. And then 1. Yeah, well, 1, 2, well, a bit out of extra. Suppose that you've got that extra move, and then is this what you're looking at? And then you've got that candle, you've got your 8 period moving average, your weekly time frame here. We're looking at a weekly, perhaps not looking at this. Saying, well, it's the same chart, isn't it? Joe. I mean, it's hard to get away from the thing that everything we've looked at today is doing exactly the same thing. Like, because they're all interested in stuff that's doing this. Like, absolutely awful or worse than awful. But fuck it, you know. There's the opportunities, right? There's that, obviously, a bit like, cover the center line there. We're starting to see something. 2-day time frame, it's still not, you know, and you've got this negative trend, though. Is there a cross there, actually? You didn't look. It's got the test coming up. Daily time frame says still got that test. So flux on 2-day, and then what was that exactly on RSI? Not terrible. Okay, inverted head and shoulders. Bottom of a downtrend, lower low, go back up again. Test of 200 from here. Boom. Bullish divergence between these two lows. You're at the 50 already. 236 up here at 0.984. Currently it's at 0.6900. So it's a significant move. Just to your 236. Trey's wanting deep crab with D point at the end of September. September? Remember? End of September? Oh, that's last year. Well, I suppose you're looking at it on a different time frame than that still. September. End of September. September. Come over here, buddy. Yeah, cool. So you've had a reaction, I suppose. I mean, that's a D point anyway, right from this. Similar. Doesn't really matter. Deep crab, cool, right? Excellent. Good move off that then. Hopefully. That's a good signal. You've also got inverted head and shoulders there across different time frames, potentially, and you've broken it, and you've got a 50 period supporting you on the 4 hour, and then the 1 hour, you've got a positive cross that's being tested. That's likely to be good because you've just gone through this previous high. So a positive test there and then bounce back above that, and you'll be looking at your own 175,765. This would be an easy trade to manage. Take it from 6990 if you get that. That's not the one, this is the one. It's not bad at all. I like that trade. You'd have to double check, right? So if you are looking at it, obviously you're looking for a terminal entry and whatnot. A terminal candle give you some sort of buy signal. Also, you'd probably want to see this on these time frames, like the hourly back above the center line. So maybe that does speak to this trying to test lower again before it really breaks up again. You've got this flux on the DMI across the 1 hour, the 4 hour, the daily, the 2 day. Right, just still not defined any trend yet. So I'd wait to see what happens, but it does speak to a degree of volatility. There is some bullish divergence on the most recent significant low there. Between these 2 points, you see lower price action, higher RSI. Trend check. It's won that trend perhaps on the daily, but you'd have to confirm it through a little bit of a fight. That would be a confirmation of that test on the what is it, on the 4 hour or the 1 hour? 1 hour, and it's just about to happen on the 4 hour. You're looking at that 50, thinking it's previous support. Is it going to turn into support, that area? You're only just below it. 1 hour, you've got the positive cross coming up, which a test of that would be totally natural. 30 minutes, similar deal, you just had it, so you get both of them at once. Save yourself the time later. 15 minutes, the 50 period might catch you. Suggest that as an entry. I don't know. Yeah, somewhere around there. Anything in around there might be good. You're taking the D point in September as the low. That gives you a risk reward. Just taking it up to the 236 of 2.63. So if your signals are right, that's works fine. If it does go beyond that, and it is, as you say, the D point from deep crab, and then where's your targets on them? They're looking up loads. Like any of these support levels might be interesting for taking profit on it, especially when you're talking about this much of a percentage move. But you might want to, play it safe, right? Because in terms of not taking everything off the table, for sure, because it could go freaking. It could easily do 300% there. Is that the 618? Yes. Can I get less on this time frame? Oh, I can. Yeah, so sugary sugar. Hopefully you could get a 300% move off that. Wow, that'd be a nice one, Ryan. You get more than that, right? I mean, it depends. You've got your. Did you say D point or B point? No, you must have said D point. Can't possibly have said B, because then it would be bad news. Oh, thank Vic and Christ, he's finally gone. Who's gone? What happened? Ghost. What happened? Who's gone? Don't think anyone on Discord or YouTube got a notification the stream is going. Oh my goodness. That why there's nobody here being nice to me. Just these raggedy gentlemen and ladies that have managed to sneak in around my fire barrel, isn't it? Isn't it? There was a guy asking me if he could borrow my shoes earlier. Bing bong, the price is wrong. Ryan super chat me as well. Thank you very much. You're super welcome, Ryan. I'm very grateful for you showing me that interesting news there. Thank you very much. Thank you. What time is it now? 2028. 2028. 2028. Does anyone got a notification now? I suppose I could tweet about it, couldn't I? Do I have that facility? I am alive. I hit the button. Did it work? Hit it twice. Probably didn't. Could tweet it on my phone, but who knows? Would it even work? Would that even work? I know. Blabadira, yada woulda bada. Something, and I might have a cup of tea, been on for a while now. What else are we looking at? Well, we've got to look at AMC for sure. Down 5.41%. Horizontal levels. I know all the old big YouTubers there. A couple of days ago saying they think AMC is going to real pump over the next couple of days. They were saying that like round here at 43, 44 bucks. They're the big AMC YouTubers, and now it's down to 10%. So, there's that. So, there's I noticed my fire bucket is getting a little bit more crowded now that I've turned on that ticker. Hello everyone, GME has what on his head? It's my hair, Lisa. Thank you, Jamie. No welcome, no problem. You're welcome. Dink, I was notified. Well, there you go, innit? Dink was notified. So you guys, you're just making shit up. 96 people watching. Wow, thanks very much. Considering some people may have not got notified, then that's good. Good, innit? Tweet. Share a tweet. Live. Live with chat. Live with chat. GME. GME. What else did we cover? Can't remember now. HEXO. Just did that. Something else? Catapult, KPLT. What else? There's something else too. I'm sure of it. Who knows? Fuck it, that'll do for now. There. Twit. Twit. I twatted about it. It's been twatted now. Totally been twatted now. Why has it got that, by the way? Because I definitely gave it a thumbnail, eh? What's the name of this stream, anyway? Tradespotting GME AMC live plus request. Yeah, that's what it should be. Why hasn't it got a thumbnail? What do you like? Ah, jeez. It has got a thumbnail and it's a fucking monster too, by the way. Pop the cat back on, please. It makes the outfit, says Katie. It's a bit hot for the cat. But the mice are freaking asking me where that cup of tea I was thinking about is gone. Or was it them thinking about it? I don't know. They're frantically hitting the cup of tea button though up there. I am not. I'm only up to HEXO. No problem. Take your time, Merrick. We'll be here for you. Space. Tradespotting. No notification. Sorry, man. No problem, Space Banana. Great to see you. Great to see you. Curls on fleek, as the kids say. Is that what they're saying, is it? Is that what they're saying, the kids, is it? See, man, maybe I could make it on TikTok then. Because what with the fire barrels and the 96 and whatnot. Maybe that's where I need to I need to move the whole ship and shebang. But yes, I have to put a lot of effort into this, You'll remember that Paul donated so that I could get a haircut. And so here we are. Thank Paul. How you doing, my friend? Jamie, what are the odds? Fucking 101. That the hedge funds, bastards, are using AMC, what's that, as a hedge for GME. Hedge? Well, I suppose you'd have to see, are they long on it? And in which case, are they short on GME? And I suspect maybe one of them is. And so there's credibility to that argument. Question then becomes, does that mean they'd have to stay in those longs in order to like cover those for that delta hedge to work? It's not a delta hedge, for that hedge to work against GME. They'd have to keep those positions long as GME was going up, wouldn't it? So like, it's like possibly, but that doesn't mean that it's inherently bad for AMC. It might be fucking brilliant for AMC, and I think the thing probably does go like, you know, whatever it does here, higher lows is what you're looking for, right? I mean, the other YouTubers are saying it was going up, and I was saying it was going down, but that's because I know what's going on, and they've got no fucking idea, right? The price is going up after it does the test of the higher low, and you're looking for it to get up to $50, and then 82, and then 97, then 137, after which point you could have lots of different conversations. But if it goes above 82, then the inflection completely changes. But until then, you've got bigger questions to ask, and those questions are really huge. They're like, this is a risk profile, this is my mortgage, this is my health, these are my bills, this is an asset the hedge funds are possibly long on. GME will go up regardless of whether or not I invest in AMC, so I could just put the money, some of it, into GME, and I've already made shitloads of money as it went to 82. That's what some people are thinking. Other people are thinking 55. I'm not saying either of them is right or wrong, but I'll tell you, Adam Aaron sold fuckloads of it in and around where the price is at the minute for absolutely no reason. Not that that's something that I care about. As I just said before, this is driven by the people who are buying shit out of the float, and those institutions that do buy the thing do tend to be going long on it in the last significant period of price action. It's just whether or not you want to be in the same boat as them, or you want to be in the same boat as somebody else, or you want to be in both of the boats, or you want to jump around boats, or maybe you don't even think of them as boats, in which case, you know, it might be very difficult for you and I to have this conversation and me to take you seriously, because they're quite clearly, at this instance and for these purposes, boats. So yeah, you're looking at higher low and you're looking at other moves. Whoop, 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 whoop-a-doo-ba-doo. Whoop-a-doo-ba-dee-ba-doo. Hi, Jen Campbell. Hi, Ol. Hi, Lisa. Using the free Webull so that they probably don't have a log. Yeah, I can't imagine they would. You can use the free trading view. Rocky Outcrop, right? He's got a link to huge discount and benefits that you don't just get anywhere else. And you can do help him support his channel by just clicking that link. It doesn't cost you anything extra. Save extra for a trading view on his channel and the description of his videos, even the most recent one to date, which is a fucking brilliant video. Like, you should watch it if you haven't seen it. Everyone should. It's crazy that I get more views than he is. It's crazy, right? Because it's just crazy. You should check out Rocky Outcrop. It's a brilliant recommendation. I can't tell you enough. You definitely should do it. Anyway, as too late space. What are you too late for? Never too late. And it can boats and the nose. Exactly. But no, serious. All seriousness. It's about risk profile and like commitments in your own life, and you know, there is a difference between right and wrong. There's not real good and evil, but there's definitely right and wrong. If you don't understand those things, then you're possibly emotionally retarded, which is cool. You know, you're still welcome. We take all types. Miffle, Miggle, Tickle. Tim says green in a sea of red today. TMC. Dynamite. Hey, I got you on the Church already, so we got some drawings. We got a flash down 309. I'd be worried about that. 15 minutes though. Well, could be going differently until then. We've not really recovered much of these moves. This is the horizontal you were looking at back in when? 21st of September? What was this here? A gap? Oh, it had been a bad murder. Green and a sea of red. Well, it's up 1.37%, so not interesting. Not interesting. Not interesting. The Metals Company, Inc. Hey yo, what are you looking at this for? It's dead boring. 355 to 399. I suppose there was a range and whatnot, but it's back in it. GME looks like it may close green today. I need GME to hurt me so I can feel something and feel I'll never feel those feels again. Yes, Ghosted Dan. It's true, right? It's true. It's true. You might never. You're just going to have to come to terms with that. You're a different man now with a different life and a completely different future. And you're just going to have to learn to love the nice things. You're just going to have to. It may drive you mad. Who knows? But you're just going to have to, right? You also don't go crashing the boats and throwing things out of hotel windows. Don't go too crazy all at once. Still try and work towards it, you know. Just a different kind of Dan. Bing bong, the price is wrong. Mr. Tradespotter, can you check out Neo? I have a friend who's beginning to believe TA works. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, who led them down that terrible path? That's a very dangerous, slippery slope. They'll believe in all sorts of nonsense if you don't. Look, you have to cut people off. Right? You have to cut them off. Listen to one song. You watch one TV show. You get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and you go to sleep at 6 o'clock in the evening and you eat porridge 3 times a day, 12 days a week. This is a very obvious rule. Mr. the Tradespotter, this is I. I am him. Hey, that's to me. Okay, Neo, let's look at it then. Just look at it, Neo. I know it'll be on there, but let's do this game instead of the other one. Ah, shuck, it isn't on there, so excellent. Now we have it on there. Aren't we lucky? I could even make it blue, and that'll make it easier to find in future. There you go, your blue Neo. Down 3.79%. Well, TA might work, but what about the people who work at Neo? Consumer durables, motor vehicles. Neo Inc. China is a holding company which engages in the design, manufacture, and sale of electric vehicles. Its products include EP9 something something bloody yada blah blah. So a little bit of a retrace here on something that, let's take it on daily time frame, has had very bullish history. Consolidating up its support, that resistance there, break through that move, previous move. What is this? How many 1618s did we get? Just a 1618. You should got one. Well, you know, this is China. We don't accept anything but minimum of 300%. Right? We want a 300% improvement on this. Right? Right, buddy? That's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for. We want some serious moves on this little dude. We're looking for some serious topside. Topside serious. See, you're like that. What 7,000? What, you're like, what 7,000? What 7,000? And yeah, that's not what you'll be trading for. I'm just drawing on interesting things. Chills, Jamie. 600 and something around 700. And then you've hit your 1618. So you've hit this extension. Everything's good. And as you might expect, you've got your daily time frame 200 period is, you got a cross, a golden cross on the daily time frame, but price action is coming in from below the cross, so the test is from below, and it's a test of the 50, a test of the 200 period moving average, and it looks to have failed both of those. The potential cross that you had might be averted. The potential golden cross will be averted because price action now persists below the 50 period moving average itself at $40 and change, with this thing currently sitting at 38.08. There's a percentage chunk there, so not necessarily going to happen. You've also rolled over slightly there and lost its enthusiasm, wicking above the 200, but that was it. You had this death cross when price action was above. We just slipped right through them and come back to test that now. You've dropped below the 200 and the 50 on a daily time frame. And looking left, your 1414 is where your most recent wick low came down to 37 and change. Thereabouts. Interesting. So from that high down to this low on the retrace and what is potentially, like, we'll talk about pennant, bull flags and so on in a moment, but on that particular move, you've come down, recaptured the 236, gone through to the golden pocket. That point dropped back down again. Pardon me, got perm in my mouth. What conditioner have I been using? It doesn't taste very natural. So, perhaps I could leave my beautiful Eastern European large spirited wife for a Scottish cross-dresser to feel hurt again. I don't know if that is a sensible decision to make quite yet, right? There is always that option, right? It's always that option. It's like the oil in Scotland. Like, just leave it in the ground, right? If you need to get it, it's not fucking going anywhere, right? That particular analogy, it's been there for so very long that it's definitely fine, and we're a better place to keep it, right? Whereas with this situation, you know, it's so very easy, right, to just, like, you've not yet move into it, gradually enjoy this. New opportunities are going to be coming your way, and at the same time, keep it in your back pocket. You always got that option. Nobody can ever take that away from you. And, you know, maybe you'll have, maybe people know, you know, you can just put it out on the table there one day. You know, you're going to negotiate with some other party who isn't in this company right now. And you could say, well, look, you know, if you don't, right, if you don't do this, I will, you know, and then, you know, you could use that, right? You could use it. So keep powder dry. Sometimes you want to keep your powder dry for these sort of opportunities, Dan. But it's a particularly effective suggestion for getting things, I imagine. If you're serious, you got the funds to back it up, right? So you, fucking hell. So you got lots of different little things that you can look at on this thing and talk about further retracements. Your 886, you didn't break that. It's a higher low. Congratulations. It's potentially a pennant. In that case, you'd be looking at this and saying, this is an interesting low. That's an interesting one. This one's confluent here. 3 touches. That comes in, and you could say, you know, there's this here, right? It's not all that different in terms of its angles and whatnot, right? And it might even have just winked at me there. I think it did. Lower highs, higher lows, period of flux. You're looking for it to confirm some sort of an uptrend with higher highs. That would be above the golden pocket on this big, large retracement back down the way here. From your highs to this low, I suspect that's where it is. If it isn't, then I looked at it wrong. I could leverage the Scottish cross-dressers against my wife, like said, I'll leverage the AMC against the GMC. I could leverage the Scottish, yes, against, like, exactly, right? Yeah, you could do all sorts of terrible, awful, terrible things. All these sort of terrible things. Oh my goodness! Fifanella, that's a very, very, very expensive picture. Thank you so much. Look at that. You see, you got silly comments from some people. And then we've got that lovely message there with frickin' massive donation. Very, very, very appreciated. This is very generous of you. Thank you so very much, Vanilla. Thank you very, very much. What a lovely day it's been. Boomsies. Boomsy, womsy, bomsies, bombs, womsies. What did I not look at that somebody asked me to look at? No, it was this. I'm in the middle of looking at it. Thank you very much. So, Neo, we're going to get this. These mice are going to go, these hamsters, what are they? I don't know, but they're squeaking. Squeaking. So is their little bicycles. Obviously, they run everything up there. They need to both themselves get some exercise, get a little pride, a little bit of motivation to them, and it keeps the lights on. So you're looking at this, testing above the center line here, pushing the top side of the resistance. That downward sloping line, 1, 2, 3 touches already. Underneath here, 1, 2. I'm not putting much faith in this here. And it's like, ooh, not so much, so brilliant. Perhaps it is rolling over, then you go over and you're like, well, that's perhaps a bearish triangle there. You can see that in its uptrend, it was significantly divergent. At that point, you'd expect it to come and test at least the 200. It did so, that and then some. Came back looking left and touched this 1272. That's not much in terms of support. Thank you so much for vanilla. It's really appreciated. Chaz. And so then you're looking at this as Wednesday. Is the market still open? 2047, 2048. So you're looking at this, and I think it's fine, right? It's up so high at the minute. It's like mostly question of when did it go down? Start of November. Right. Well, it's taken a bit of a hit, but considering what's going on in its domestic marketplace, I don't think that's all that desperate. You see, where is this listed? I see. And it's a what? It's the holding company. You see, what if it's... So, I mean, they're headquartered in China. So obvious, right? Like, there's a huge opportunity at the minute with China. Huge. There's a huge opportunity with China at the minute. It's so overplayed. Some aspects of it are so overplayed with regards to the systemic risk. Not saying that it's not relevant and that certain things won't happen. I'm just saying Evergrande could go up to like 17 grand, and that would be a nice trade, wouldn't it? Historically, you've never had, since maybe like I think it's the early 90s, you've never had such a low exposure to China among some of the major hedge funds. Since then, you've never had such low exposure, right? Low exposure across the board. I'm not talking about this guy, that guy, the next bank. I'm talking about opportunity. And Neo's got opportunities, right? Whether it goes one way or not, you're looking for higher lows. You're already retracing somewhat against that trend. You want to hold this golden pocket and go up again. You'd look to recover the 236. Should you do so, that means holding 38 and maybe below there at 37, and looking then moving up again to $50 or like in and around 48 and change, right? That's what you'd be looking for it to do, at which point you could be able to draw in a different downward sloping line, come back and test this formation, and then look to move on again. Should you do so and go up, you look to 1618 at $107. That's like 3x if you get the right risk reward on that. It would be a good trade, right? Really good trade. But it could also not hold those supports, come back down, maybe retrace to some of these levels. It looks like it could potentially be a descending triangle, in which case the measured move might take you back down to $10, and then you'd lose a third of that price. And should you come back there, put in a test of this previous horizontal, the most recent test of it, or should it be not, that would be the high of that area and look left to 2414 at about 13 and change. Maybe it does come down there, maybe it slips but doesn't get that low. I mean, you'd have to manage it with a stop loss and then look to those re-entries should it drop down. I'm sure they'd provide you with fantastic opportunity, because ultimately, I mean, this will probably be doing fantastically well over a period of time. And the overall perspective on China at the minute is fundamentally wrong. It's totally wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. Everyone's wrong. Everyone apart from Rocky Outcrop's wrong. Right? Everyone's wrong. Where is it? We were looking for GME. There it is, GME, 0.43% down today. Auto didn't do me any favors. What did I expect? It works up here though. So are you in this channel? Are you holding that 200 period moving average? There's your 50, 208.88. 215.14 is your high today. Let's drop down to the 1 minute time frame. Let's slap on automatic top Matic. You've got your flash down there at 208 and 2 and 2 and 20 and 2 or something. Possibly goes there. Interested in it. Live chat, Tradespotting. It's to do with rollover dates and swaps. Just wondering what the Tradespotting crew thought of it. What is? What disaster area 44? What is? Did I miss something before? Anybody got any opinions on close to in the money 26 November calls like 230 strikes? Anybody got any opinions on it? 26th of November calls, $230 strikes. It's very close. Very close. Very, very, very close. You got yourself 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trading days. Yes. No, wait, what? Is that including today? You don't have today anymore. You don't have today. You got 6 trading days. So there, you'd be like, why are you closing that then on the... I mean, you know what? Do I have opinions on it? Yeah, they're far too fucking risky. $230. What's the premium on them? Would have to be the question. 230 strike price. And also, like, is it part of an overall strategy, or is it just that one singular trade in what you're talking about? In which case, risk profile doesn't suit me at all, especially because I think we're going down to $169. Max Payne's at 197.5, and you've got a flash here at 208, which speaks to continuation of this downward sloping trend, which I expect to come in and test support. At which point you'd be thinking it was very bullish, but until then, most people are wrong most of the time, and that's what I'm thinking is happening with GME. And China and like everything, to be honest. So we was down on the 1 minute time frame on the GMEs, and short-term expiry options can ruin your life, and that's as long and the short of that part of the you want to be good, you want to be cool, you don't want to trade short-term expiry options unless you really got a very high risk tolerance, and potentially somehow investigating some narrative similar to what Dan was discussing earlier. Something like that. Boom, this is rolling over. Boom, does it go here and support and bouncing up again? Who knows, right? That would be lovely. I'd love it to. It's just to, in my role as in performing it well, keeping everybody safe, pointing out obvious things, right? They're obvious to me. Everyone else like, no, it can't happen, or still think it's going to happen, and then maybe that's happening. That's how it goes. And then it happens. Anyway, yes, so I mean, everybody's free to answer everybody. And if you're asking people questions, great. Cockroach Rancher. How's it going, Cockroach Body? Great week. I don't know what you're talking about, though. What's that mean? The ghost of Dan, I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm sorry if I was talking out my ass. I'm glad, Dan. Sorry I was talking my ass. Hey, that's nice. Did you just do that good say? You're talking out your ass. Wow. The closest just like get to repeat my experience states he is very correct. Very correct. Who? Moi? It can't be possible. Boom. 1 minute. Get out of my face. We're going up. Come on. Let's do it. Boom. Bang. Boom. 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 Bim. Blim. Bim. Bim. What's the time here? 20:56. Oh, we're in the last few minutes. You got your flash. We're on 1 minute. So kind of with the flash. Hey, we're here with the flash. What have you been up to? Well, I've just come back up, I've put in this sort of tested the 618 of the formation there, and took him back down, tested it on the bottom side. Yep, came down, tested on the bottom side. Maybe now I'm testing it back on again on the top side, the 618 of this area. Yep, I am. So, that's what I'm doing. Just what, whatever Tradespotting says, it's just going to happen. It's a second away, whether it's right now or whether it's next week. Thanks. Looks like the later expiry then. Just trying to get perspective on the Garkin's latest DD. I haven't actually seen what the particular strikes and that he's talking about, though I should have my own bad on that front, but I haven't seen what they are exactly or whatnot. But I can tell you the open interest is particularly interesting. There we are up at the 618. The relative price of those options is quite expensive, in particular right now, generally speaking, but in particular right now. And then again, in comparison to, strike prices either side of it. I've talked about that exact strike price on Monday or Tuesday, and that exact the open interest at that strike price and its implications for technical analysis with respect of the Max Payne, and talked people through what was likely to happen and how to manage their expectations, and not financial advice, potentially how I might manage trades. I did that earlier in the week. It was fucking amazing video, absolutely brilliant. The sort of thing that huge companies pay shitloads of money for. And I'm sure it is helpful to the few people who were blessed enough to join me for it. And if you go back and find it, you'll likely enjoy it. It's got loads of interesting stuff in it, and it's entertaining and cool and whatnot. If you can put up with Mumble TA, you'll have a good time. Absurdly funny, as quoted by the what was it called? GQ, yeah, that was it. Or what was the other one? Forbes, that was it. No, was it them? Who knows? Somebody, anyway. Absurdly funny, the greatest fucking thing in the fucking universe. That's what he said. And I was like, that's not even close to as good as it fucking was. Hey, a critic's a critic. The universe. You know? Fucking never get the credit I deserve. Hi. Hey, Mike. How you doing? Is there a rocket here? Is there a rocket here? Oh, where is our Rocky here? Are you here? Tradespotting. No, I think Rocky's getting a massage. How do you get Rocky DMI flashes to show up on the price chart? Mine only shows up on the indicator. Oh, Ryan, you poor pleb, porridge eating, poverty stricken pleb, poverty. But you have to upgrade to Rocky's Patreon tier that's got it on it. It says it there. You get the indicator now. There's 100 places there at that level, whatever price that is. Probably too cheap. Don't get me started. And after that, the price might go back to something. Might go up. Never been there. Might go. Anywho, yeah. It's fucking fantastic. Speaking about things that are fucking fantastic, we're back up at 210, testing 886. Go on from there. So like, this is something to deal with a later time. 1618 on this move up 210.83. Do you push there in the last few minutes of the day, or do you come back down and test these sort of areas? 236 in this Fibonacci at 209.09 or 208 and change. Well, price action the last minute of the day, a little bit of a wick on that. Only down at the 886 if you close above it. It's fantastic. It looks like it's done so. Looking left, it's not actually managed to put enough on the RSI to give it much strength or confidence yet. As it's going through it, you would like to have seen it equal with it. That doesn't say that this won't go on further to the 1618 at 210.83, by which stage you have pulled up your RSI. And that would be a continuation of the trend, and as we would see here, of the higher and lows on RSI, and you have had a positive inflection on there. So there we go, folks, ladies and gentlemen. The markets have closed 210.12, and we've been on for a couple of hours, I think now, and covered lots of different things. We've had a good time. I'm going to put the kettle on, and or maybe that's it. Is that what? Have we done everything now? I think I might have done everything. Did loads of different things. I think I did loads of things. Is there anything anybody like me to cover? I don't want to ask that actually, because I want a cup of tea and that. Plus I did ask it earlier and did loads of stuff since then. Didn't I just? Right, I've had a great time. Thanks for everybody who joined me here. It's been beautiful. I've had a lovely experience. And we can all now go back to salivating in anticipation of the agitation shorn straight from a cliff right in the heart of the matter, deep down in this chart that we have here with GME closing up in 210s again. Great to see. Does that mean that it can't retrace 10-15%? No, it doesn't mean that sort of thing at all. Does that mean that that would be negative for price action? No, not really. I mean, yeah, sure, inherently that would be a down move, but over speaking to the trend, no. And do we look to manage our own expectations with those levels? Yes. Do we think that $230 is unachievable by the 26th of November? Obviously not, if we're speaking to this percentage move to the downside. It's just speaking to the likely probabilities based on the technical analysis, even in the face of it going up a little bit. That's all I'm saying. It's just, and it's legitimate, right? It's legitimate. It's the same truth that I'll always tell the truth, right? It's just whatever it is at the time. I'm only here, Tradespotting. Grab a cuppa and come back for chats. You're only here, Shane. You're only here, Shane. Shane, you've only just arrived, Shane. Shane, where were you earlier when people were trying to call this a wig? I was looking for people to be handing out bans. Where were you earlier? Also, you put the kettle on. Why do I always have to make the tea? Nobody ever makes me cups of tea. Notice that? Have you noticed that? No, Rocky does make cups of tea. That's true. It's true, he does. Shame on me. Shit. Shouldn't have said that. Stay away from the short expiry options, you're telling me. If you're asking for that question, you shouldn't be buying them. Yes, you should. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Unless you just made it too. Love the hair. You just made it, Flip. What the flippin' hell is this? Think you can just stroll in at any time of the day? What? What? It used to be true that I was like, well, I'll tell you. Everybody knows the truth. That Juliet loves Romeo. Romeo loves Juliet. Juliet loves Jamie. But Jamie is out here every day slaying Doom with the Doom Slayers. And he ain't going back to Reasonable Land. And he doesn't like Juliet balconies. He appreciates something slightly more substantial where you can actually get a little bit of the vitamin D, which is very important up here in Scotland. For all of us, it's how we grow these wonderful hairs on our heads. So I am here too, just strolled in. Well, that's very like you, Sir David B. You have now got a reputation for tardiness. Sir David Peason, Sir David P. Hassan, and everybody else. Go for Full Doom Slayer. Ryan Seeley, welcome. You're soon going to get your head chopped off at that rate. Thanks for another Bonza day's work. Martin Ewan. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. You're a solid bloke yourself. Thank you very much. Bonza, it's Funhouse. Welcome to Funhouse with Tradespotting. Right, let's start a new episode. Fuck it, right, let's just do it right. A whole brand new episode starting now. Congratulations, everybody. You made it to the secret, special, amazing episode. All you need to do is go down to the bottom there, push pause, and then push start again, and we'll join into the next one. Funhouse with Tradespotting is going to be fucking brilliant, right? Don't go anywhere. It's going to be amazing. If you don't see me again, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.